Hello, AJ here, and good morning. It is Tuesday morning, and I just got done doing a morning cardio and small circuit to kick off the day, and back at my home gym to record this video for you guys. Thanks for clicking on this video, and today my intention and goal is to kind of wrap up the different videos I've done on nutrition based on carbs, proteins, and fats. So if you have not done so, please go visit those videos and take a look and educate yourself. They're general videos when it comes to overall how fats impact our body, proteins, and also carbs. And it will give you a good knowledge base, a foundation to kind of see why those 3 macros are important when it comes to mapping out your nutrition. So today we're going to talk about utilizing those 3 components along with perhaps some other insights to help manage your nutrition aligned to your goals. So with that being said, let's get started. First off, you need to make sure you understand what your goal is. Is it fat loss? Is it building muscle, or is it maintaining? Because those 3 goals have different programming protocols, and that's the main foundation, okay? Now, other items that may impact that foundation could be your adherence, your current health status, meaning your digestion of your gut and digestive health and also gut health, and also how your body responds. So with that all encompassing, we need to map out what is your goal, and outside of that, where you're currently at. So that way we can navigate the plan to help fuel you and have you healthy as far as recovery to optimize the nutrition. There's a lot of diets out there, and there's different protocols to leverage. And optimally, if your body's healthy, it will uptake the proper macro and allocate it to where it needs to your goal. But unfortunately, historically, me, myself, and I have abused nutrition in the past, and that will be another video to give you some insight with my personal experience. But for the sake of this video, you need to identify what your goal is, okay, first and foremost. And then you need to identify how healthy you are. Because the best analogy I can think of is a car. You can put the right fuel in it, but if the car is not mechanically functioning and absorbing that fuel to run, it's the same example that will impact your body. So if your digestive system, your hormones, everything is not intact, it will compromise the nutritional uptake. So even though if you're eating healthy, you're hitting your targets, that could be the reason. So first and foremost, see if you are healthy through getting a physical, getting blood work done to ensure your hormones are intact. And if it's not, that's fine, but identifying if there are issues, it will help navigate the effectiveness of the macros. So we talked about percentage allocation generally for a healthy person in the targets. Now, based on your goals, those percentages may fluctuate in your lifestyle and also how your body responds. So for example, protein is the only macro that's not stored per se. Unless you go into caloric surplus, it will go into fat stores. But we don't store protein as protein per se. That's why you want to lift weights and do fitness things, weight resistance, to help retain the muscle. But energy for fuel comes solely from carbohydrates, which is glycogen, okay? And then also from fats, ketones, okay? So to ensure that you're mapping your programming right, you need to understand how effective are you digesting and uptaking those items. If you have autoimmune issues, such as celiac or hormone issues, those can impact if you had cancer or prone to cancer or even aging. Our digestive systems are very sensitive as to what type of macros can be effective based on where we're currently at and what we've done to our bodies. So whether you're carb sensitive or fat sensitive, those are the energy sources that you need to be mindful to. And that comes from trial and error. If you're not working with a person that is qualified and educated in nutrition and also fitness, there's a lot of experimentation, added experimentation that has to come in place. So looking at the macros, you want to first find your maintenance, and I suggested that you utilize an app to kind of track where you're at right now and see how your weight fluctuates. The reality is most people don't like to be hostage to a tracker, okay? They want to intuitively eat. And for the most part, intuitive eating, especially at an older age, it backfires because we've abused our natural abilities with our processing, digestion. So with processed food, chemicals, it's impacted the different diets that we've done. It's actually fluctuated our tolerances naturally as to carb sensitivity or fat sensitivity. So understanding your tolerance when it comes to digesting those macros is important. Protein I recommend, is typically high. If you're into fitness and you're wanting to build muscle or lose fat, you want to sustain a pretty high level of protein. Now, then that leaves just macros of carbs and fats to look at. And what I recommend there is leveraging the proper guidance, that I suggested, and see how your body reacts. And I'm not talking about reacting in 1 or 2 days of eating it. You have to give it some time. It takes the body actually 3 or 4 days to not only just digest the foods, but also to disperse it through your body to see how it feels. Sometimes if you have not eaten certain foods for a long time, you find that indigestion or whatnot doesn't mean that you're necessarily sensitive. You're just intolerant of it right now. That's why, for example, a lot of people that are not gluten sensitive, if you eliminate gluten altogether and then all of a sudden decide to binge on a pizza and you feel like crap, it's because your body's not used to digesting that. Our gut bacteria in our digestive system adapts to what we consume. So if you eliminate something, it's just basically the same as if you're used to running 5 miles, but then you decide that you're not going to run anymore. Chances are, after months, years, decades, in some cases, that you start running again, and you don't start with just 5 miles, because chances are you'll hurt yourself. So it's very similar when it comes to nutrition mapping, okay? So make sure you're mindful to understand where your maintenance is using the app, and do that by tracking. You have to start somewhere. So track your foods, weigh yourself, but don't put any emotional ties to that project, okay, that exercise. Start with doing that, log it with, not just log the data, but log how you feel, okay? Do this for 2 weeks. Just eat as you are doing, and if it's intuitive, track everything and weigh yourself and have the numbers side by side. Once you have those numbers side by side, you can assess it. Is your weight fluctuating? Is it based on the calories that you're doing? In regards to the calories that you're consuming, what's the macro breakdown? what's the average fats that you're consuming, you know, for those 2 weeks, the average carbs and the average protein, and how are you feeling, and what is the scale doing? And then that way you can start tweaking those itemized items, okay? If you find that you're intuitively eating and you're like kind of gaining weight at 2,000 calories, chances are you're on a surplus, okay? And that's not gonna help promote any fat loss if you have no visibility as to what you're doing. So starting out by tracking will give you that at least benchmark to be able to have a game of attack plan, okay, for your goals. So start doing that, and then once you've identified that, then you can kind of moderate with a small deficit for fat loss, a small surplus for muscle gain, okay? Because you need to eat to fuel your body to build the muscle. You need the fuel, so don't be afraid to eat. If you understand the science behind caloric surplus, it's not always fat. It's fat gain if you do nothing, okay? If you're ingesting things that are high in sugar and unhealthy, then chances are it's going to be fat gain, and it's not going to be muscle if you're not lifting, okay? But if you mindfully address things that incorporate, you know, your workouts, and you're consistent with that, the only thing that may fluctuate is what you're doing with nutrition. So you want to streamline that and offer structure, so you can tell from your body's response what you need to navigate. So there are a lot of tools and things that you need to be mindful to when you're looking at this data and understanding, is it the calories that are impacting your results, or is it your digestion, okay, that's impacting your results? I will do a video on supplementation. If you don't have proper gut health, it's very challenging to really optimize your nutrition. But with that said, we can fix it for the most part. You just have to be consistent on feeding your body and understanding what it has a low intolerance to or a low tolerance to, and then rebuild. That's why a lot of people that go on strict diets and eat the same thing all the time, well, honestly, we're not pets. That's not how our digestive system works. We need variety, we need balance, and we need to ensure that we're feeding the good gut bacteria with not eliminating things that were obviously does not harm our bodies. But Sally's not eating dairy, for example, and she's lost 30 pounds in 2 weeks. Well, you're not Sally, and chances are Sally's not going to keep it off. So being mindful and strategic with how you're mapping the macros, start with that, okay? I'm going to just basically focus on setting the benchmark in this video, okay? That way, is step by step. I could throw a lot at you guys right now. I probably do like a 3-hour long video addressing digestive health, chronic health, nutrition, even more detail with macros, supplementation, and I will be doing different videos as they come, as my mind thinks of these items to help educate you guys. But start with the foundation on tracking your macros, okay, or tracking your eating for 2 weeks, setting the benchmark, and then my other videos will be, I'll do a playlist. If you notice, I've made playlists. I'll put it under nutrition, what I do after I track, okay? Because then it would be the next step of not manipulating, but actually diving in and understanding, you know, based on your caloric maintenance, how those macros should be. And then we can also talk about different protocols, like carb cycling, like intermittent fasting, okay, like time restricted feeding, the type of diets. This whole macro thing has nothing to do with if you want to be carnivore, if you want to if it fits your macros, or if it is vegan, vegetarian, Atkins, it's not about the protocol when it comes to the nutrition plan, okay? We're talking about just setting up, okay, the baseline, and then we'll go from there. I also am attaching my workout from today, so if you're interested in seeing the little circuit, I'll do a voiceover on that, and then you get a little bit of nutrition assignment, and then you can try the fitness assignment. All right, that's about it for today, and I look forward to doing my next vlogs. I have a lot of content. I really appreciate you guys, making comments and suggestions and how you guys are responding to these videos. I'm having a really good time just, kind of gabbing and educating you guys with my experience and knowledge. Okay, so thank you so much. Like I said, if you haven't done so, please refer to the macro videos that I've done. I've also created a playlist and bucketed under that, and so that way it'll be easier reference. And if you guys have any questions or comments as to how or what app to use, the app that I recommend and I personally use is Lose It, non-sponsored, but I've been using it for 7 years, so as long as you're consistent, okay? And then we'll talk about how to adjust the macros and fix your gut if you're having issues and what type of protocols. Share it with your friends. I'm still testing the boundaries here in regards to how this whole vlogging thing is, and I appreciate your patience. All right, like, subscribe, make comments, do the notification bell thing so that way you hear from me. Okay, take care guys. Have a great week. Bye. Are y'all getting dizzy yet? Just doing some morning cardio for heart health.